Welcome back to Real-ationship Goals, a podcast all about exploring the realities and complexities of healthy relationships. Real-ationship Goals is a project of the Prevention and Education team at the Advocacy Center for Crime Victims and Children in Waco, Texas. If you or someone you know has experienced sexual violence or harassment and is seeking support services or needs more information, links to resources and our hotline number can be found in the description. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of their organizations or affiliates.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Real-ationship Goals. We are your hosts. My name is Mónica. I use they, she pronouns.
I'm Caroline. I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Taya. I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Ariana. I use she, her pronouns.
Yes, and Caroline's actually our new member of the P&E team, and you're joining us for the last episode. That's okay, she'll be back for more next season. But today we're bringing back a special topics episode, and I actually was inspired by Justin Bieber's performance at Coachella and the conversation that people were having online about him performing with his younger self in the back. And so today I really wanted to talk about like inner child / teenager and our experiences with that part of ourselves, beginning with, how do you view your inner child and or teenager? I know because I know when I think about my inner teenager, she's angry. She's angry. But my inner child, when I think of little Mona, I'm like carefree, like just wants to have fun. I love dressing up. Well, my mom really put that in me, like dressing up and looking cutesy and all these things. And so I love dressing up. I was the girl with like putting on the baby doll heels. You know the baby doll heels?
Yes.
That did not fit me. But no, very different from inner child and inner teenager.
Ooh, I think I see my inner teenager more of being anxious, worrying about what other people think. That's how I felt when I was in high school.
Yeah.
It's different, very different from now, but
yeah,
that's how I see my how I see my teenager self, for sure.
When I first read this question, I think as a child I viewed like life or like everything just wasn't so serious.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, you got to do this, this, and this. What are you doing next? When are you having kids? Yada, yada. It's like, why is everything so serious?
Like you don't mean the biggest day is, the biggest time in my life is recess?
Yes, yeah.
What do you mean I got a mortgage?
Yeah. And also, like, just viewing the world as innocent as you can, I think is how I try to view my inner child. Yeah.
I would say I view my inner child as also like carefree. I loved fantasizing a lot. I used to draw a lot, like create my own worlds and just draw and write different stories. So I was very carefree as a child. But I would say teenage Ariana, then I became a little bit more anxious and just like a little bit more self-aware of like my image and how people saw me and things of that nature. And now that I'm an adult, I have to worry about a lot of more things.
Yeah.
So the transition is, it gives me a doozy sometimes.
Yeah, you're like, man, I really did not want to grow up. What the heck?
Yes.
This is not what I thought was being grown, mate.
Right.
Well, my second question was, what do you appreciate about little you, whether teen or kid?
It's more of like, I saw the world as just rainbows and sunshine and we're all gonna get along, and that's how I saw, that's what I appreciate about my inner child, is everyone's friends and the world is so good. And
That's so sweet.
and so and then my teenager self, I just had lots of goals, like goal oriented, and had visions for myself and everything, and as I'm getting older, I'm reaching those goals and stuff like
beautiful.
that. So I think that's something I appreciate about myself.
Yeah, I think something I appreciate about my inner child and teenager, really. It's just like staying fun, or like having fun in whatever situation I'm in, and just finding the joy in every circumstance. So
And you know, when you say that, I imagine the pictures that you sent me when we were doing the baby pose of her just standing like in the doorway like this, or you like as a baby with the little sunglasses. I'm like, oh, little Kaya.
Yeah.
How about you, Ariana?
I'd say I appreciated prioritizing my peace as a child and as a teenager. It didn't matter what I did, how I viewed the world, or what was going on. My peace mattered the most to me. I was like, you are not going to ruin my day. And that is that.
Yeah. When I think about my inner child and teenager, I think of two things. One, I think about how, like learning things for the first time. I mean, that still continues as you're an adult, but I think it was even more of a big phenomenon for me when I was little. Like, I remember being at a dinner and seeing my cousin drink her soda, and I was like, it's getting lower. Like, anything, I'm like, whoa, it's actually leaving. It's not like my baby doll toys when I'm just like feeding them the bottle and it stays the same. I was like, whoa, it's gone. And I remember that is such a core memory of me being like, she's gonna run out. But my second one is also standing up for myself. Even when I was really young, I was like really like kind of, and you really inspired me with what you said, Ariana, because I remember, I think around like 4 or 5, I was like, I don't want to have birthday parties anymore. My head hurts from everybody in my face and all the attention, like it's making me anxious. And so I had asked to not have that anymore, and if we could celebrate with like maybe just me, my mom, my dad, and then eventually when my sister came along, my sister. So we stopped having birthday parties, and they honored that, thank goodness. I feel like I was really lucky in that. Another thing, when I think about my childhood, I think about how close I was with my cousins. Me and my cousins could do anything and everything. Like, you give us a pile of mud, we will have fun. And so I think I also really love that. I think it also helped, like, we didn't have the technology that we do, you know, the iPads, the tablets, and all these different things. Like, we had to make fun out of whatever was in front of us. So I think I was a really creative kid. I will say I was not a kid that was like, pew, pew, you know, with like with the Barbies and stuff. I definitely was like, I even do this as an adult, so maybe it's just like a me thing. But like, for example, with Sims, like I'll play Sims, I take it too serious. I'm like, I gotta go to work, I gotta pay my rent. So I think I was always a little too serious in that sense. And so I was like, she has to go to work. So maybe I was anxious, who knows? So my next question is, what brought you joy as a kid or as a teen, just like as a younger you? Did you have any hobbies or any collections that you had? Just overall, what brought y'all joy?
Ooh, I just loved being with my family. It was just family time. Screen time wasn't that big of a thing, you know, when we were growing up. So it was just spending time with my little cousin, and my grandma would take care of us, and we would watch SpongeBob and Scooby and Tom and Jerry. I just love watching TV, and it was fun. Yeah, that was what brought me joy. It's really just being with my family. We would just find things to do at home, you know, it's being creative and
running outside.
Yeah, nature, spending time with
coming
nature.
Inside stinking.
Do y'all remember Nickelodeon?
Running
When they would have that one day where you would have to go outside.
And you would just change the channel.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what, but yeah, just really family time was just what brought me joy.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think for me, I had a really great childhood, and I miss it so much. But I just loved like hanging out with my friends and like doing sleepovers and play dates.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes, because being an only child, like that's
right.
all I had. And so I'm very grateful like that I had so many friends and people to hang out with. And it like just helped me not be shy and put myself out there.
Do you have I know you're an only child, but do you have a big family, like cousins?
Yes, but they're all
over.
Yes, they're all over. So none of my family lives in Utah where I'm from, only my parents. So like it was just my parents and their friends and their kids. So I have a lot of like extended family.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's like, what's the word for it? Like you make your own family, like
Chosen.
not blood. Yes,
Chosen
chosen family. So both blood and chosen family. And then also, like, I just love traveling. And we would do like a beach trip every year and just like
different beaches.
Yes.
Okay,
and
cute.
like finding like seashells was my favorite. I still have like every shell I've found. And like just jumping in the water and pretending to be mermaids, like that.
Let's play mermaids, yes.
Like that was just the best thing as a child, and I still love like going to the beach today. But now it's just like sitting there and chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say what brought me joy, I was a real busy kid and teenager. Like I loved playing outside.
Yeah.
We
you're
had
in a lot of sports too, right?
I was in a lot of sports. My dad had like bought us our own personal basketball goals. So me and my siblings, we were out there every day. We had to argue with our parents, like, can we go outside, please?
Oh.
Come back in and be exhausted, but you had a good day.
Yeah, and you were gonna sleep good.
Real good, even though you had to go to school the next day.
Right.
But yeah, I just found joy in doing that and just sharing time with my siblings, and then becoming a teen and doing sports, creating friendships and playing a sport that we both love.
Yeah.
So,
And I really think about me, like, as a kid, I was very into fandoms. I think that's what it's called. Like, even when I was little, I remember being little, and me and my cousin that lived like less than a block away from me, we were all about Barbie. We're watching Princess and the Pauper.
Yes.
We're watching, Rapunzel. Like, we're watching all the Barbie movies and just like having, like, binge watching them. And then as we got older, it was like we're watching the Hannah Montana movie, we're watching the Jonas Brothers 3D concert. Like, I think so. Now that I think about it, I think we were talking about it earlier. Movies played a big role in my life growing up. Like, a lot of our family would go to like the dollar movies. My mom would take us. We did have to wait a little bit. The good movies take a minute to get to the dollar movies, right? So we'd have to wait. We'd have to like stay away from the spoilers. And we would go watch movies. I remember Bratz was a big thing for me.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes, me and Ariana have connected over that. We love Bratz Rock Angels. And so I really was a kid on technology. Like, I was that kid. I had like a little DS, and I would play. Play my Rock Angels game, and don't even get me started on Nintendogs. Like, I loved Nintendogs, and I think it was like Super Mario 64 or something. Like,
Mario Kart.
Yes, like those games are Cooking Mama, like
Yes.
interior games. Like, I loved playing games like that, and even when I was a kid, I think this is where it really started. We had like a desktop, like the big chunky, TV, and not TV, excuse me, desktops, things. My mom used to get me like the educational CD games. So I'd be on there learning my fractions and like learning addition and my colors. And that's like all that was available on there. So I would play on there all the time, just educational games. So I guess like I found a lot of community in that. That led up into like the fandoms and things like that. Shared experiences, I guess, virtual spaces. So yeah, like I was a big fangirl. I mean, we were just talking about it. I love my Jonas Brothers. I love Justin Bieber. I loved that era of Disney Channel too, of Miley Cyrus, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez. But yeah, those
We're
are
all One Direction fans.
I had jumped off of it. Like, that was when Justin Bieber was getting a little bit older, I think.
Yeah.
And then One Direction came on, and I was like, I'm too grown. Like, I'm too cool for this. I don't know what I got into. I think around that time, I think I started getting more in touch with, like, Houston, Texas rap. And so, like, complete different. You know, I really thought I was too cool for school. I was like, One Direction. Okay. I was just ranting. I can talk about childhood all day long.
I love
It's
it.
so much fun. Okay, Ariana inspired this question, and I am really interested to hear what y'all say. What do you think your inner child would think of you now? And like, if y'all were having a conversation, what do you think little you would say?
I think when I was little, I didn't really play like dolls. I wasn't like a mom and baby. I didn't have a baby doll and was like a baby. Well, I'm a mom now, you know, and so I think, you know, my little self would be amazed, you know, just because.
What the heck, that baby's real?
Yeah. Like, you know, you're a mom now, and I really think a lot about my childhood now because I want my baby to have the best childhood, you know. I want to give her a childhood kind of like what I had, but also enhance it.
Yeah.
Like, I had a pretty good childhood, but I want her to have the best childhood, you know. And so I think that's what my little self would be like, wow, you know, you're a mom. And we would just talk about that. And yeah, that's really probably the biggest thing. Yeah.
I also want to say, you and Kaya have said it, that y'all had really good childhoods. I feel like y'all are like the first people I've ever met that said that. And that makes me so happy. Like, that makes me so happy because I feel like we had, maybe it's just like statistics, you know, just like area that I was in, we just didn't have good childhoods. And, you know, that's like a spectrum, right? But for y'all to be like, I had an amazing childhood, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, that makes me happy. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
You try to make the most of it, you know, like it was just like I grew up with my mom, my grandma raised me, and it was, you know, then my little brother came along, you know, it was so, it was, you make the most of it, honestly.
Yeah, like at the time I was having a ball, but now I look back at it, I'm like,
Probably shouldn't have been doing that.
right. How about you, Kaya?
Yeah, I think the first thing she would be really surprised I wasn't a doctor because I wanted to be a doctor from a very young age. But I think I would just reassure her, like, we have something much better, like, we're helping people in different ways, and not just, like, medically. So I think that would be the first thing.
Very courageous, because your family's, like, line, right?
Yeah.
Like, generations
Yeah.
of, yeah.
Yes, like my two cousins on my mom's side, they're both doctors, and then their parents are doctors or something in the medical fields, and so I felt like I had to do it, I think, was the biggest thing. But yeah, I think she would also be happy just like how deep in my faith I am, and it's not just like oh, you hear about church and Jesus all day, but it's like you've made it your own.
Yeah, like you embody it.
Yes, yeah. So I think that would be the biggest thing. And also that just I'm adventurous. Like, I got out of Utah.
No, shout out to you.
Yeah, and didn't just like stay where I had to stay, and went to different places where I didn't know people. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
I think little me would think of me now like she would be very proud of me. That I've grown very much. I've become more vocal about things I want, things I don't want. I think she would tell me, girl, you're a girl boss. You're a girl boss. Because when I started this job, I accomplished a lot of firsts for me.
Oh, wow, yeah.
A lot of firsts. So first apartment, first big girl job, first everything. So she would be real proud of me that I've stepped out of my shyness and grown as a person.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Well, I'll be like real vulnerable and say that even I did have like a really rough childhood, and realistically, I did not think I was gonna even make it to high school. And so like me being where I'm at, I think little me would be like, what? And plus all the cool things that I've done since then, I am really proud of a lot of the things that I did. So I think if I were to think of little me, I think Mona would be like really amazed and honestly shocked, because like it was a tough time for me to be so young and even think like I'm not gonna make it to high school. And so I've made it way beyond that, and I'm so happy to be here, and I would not want it any other way. And so I think she would also be really proud of me. I think little Mona would think big Mona is cool. I hope she thinks I dress really good. That's my truth. That's my truth. Thank you. I would hope, because I've always loved clothes, but as a little girl who was a little bit bigger, I didn't have a lot of clothes, so that became such an issue. But I've always been so obsessed with clothes. Like Polly Pocket, don't get me started. Bratz, you know, they have a passion for fashion. Like, it's literally in my blood. But yeah, I think that she would think I'm really, really cool and would be proud. I think of, it makes me think, I have a colleague, a friend, who, she is the VP, the vice president of her organization, but her son's friends think that she's the vice president of the United States. And I think that's so cute. And I would hope that little Mona thinks I'm the president or something. Well, okay,
awesome.
My last question. Well, I actually have a bonus question, but this is like my last for real serious question. How do you connect with your younger self now? How do you honor your younger self?
Kind of like I said, having a daughter, you know, I'm trying to connect with myself through her, kind of. So I'm healing myself through my daughter, you know, and trying to give her just what's the best. I think it's kind of full circle, kind of. But also, you know, kind of vulnerable as well. You know, after having a baby, my weight was always a big problem for me. I was just growing up, just losing weight and trying to look great. And, you know, and after having a baby, you know, it's been kind of hard. And so I'm trying, but honestly, worrying about what other people think, I don't really worry about that now. I worry about, my daughter, you know, you know, like there's nothing anybody could say to me or do to me that makes me feel like it's the biggest deal in the world, because I have somebody to make the world a better place for, you know, does that make sense? I don't know, I felt like that's a kind of all over the place answer, but so that's how I kind of connect my younger self, is through my daughter, but also trying to just better myself, you know, and make that little person proud.
Beautiful. I always think motherhood is so, so beautiful. Even as someone who doesn't want kids, hearing about other experiences, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. So thank you genuinely for sharing.
I think the biggest thing is like having fun, even when life is stressful and anxiety is high, just like finding the joy in it all as much as I can.
Because one thing about me and Kaya, we're gonna laugh.
Yes.
We're gonna laugh and we're gonna joke. And you know, Kaya, she's gonna be like, slay.
I would say now I'm trying to work on connecting with my younger self. I try to find moments where, like, I used to love writing a lot as a kid. So a lot of these people know that I love poetry. So I'm trying to get back into that, writing more, and just like understanding, like, you have a story and your younger self had a story. So honor that.
And it's like
bring
being
it
a
out.
witness to it. Like that's one of the biggest things of, like, even talking about like my struggles as a kid. I think something now, like, I guess it connects to this, is honestly honoring those things and being a witness to it. Because one thing that I felt like when I was younger is a lot of people didn't take me serious because I was younger. Like, oh my gosh, seriously? Like, you're a kid, you don't even know the worst. But I was like, no, something's not okay up here. Like, I know something's not okay. And I used to write, and I wish I journaled about my feelings. I was writing about marrying Nick Jonas. I literally was that kid. I was escaping, but I really wish, like, I had my feelings down, because I also used to write poetry a lot. It was really sad, like, genuinely, it was really sad. But I feel like one thing is, like, how you said we have a story, is really honoring that and not belittling it. And, like, I know for the longest, it took me a really long time to say, as a teenager, I was so angry, because I'm like, angry is such a negative thing, like, people don't want to. But I was like, no, she was angry, and she had very much a reason to be angry. But so I just really love what you said. I will say one thing I do to connect with my younger self now. You guys, and y'all know this because I have them over here. I love little trinkets like this. I don't even know if they're considered trinkets. These are Littlest Pet Shop. But I don't restrict myself from that anymore. There was a lot of shame growing up. Like, oh my gosh, I loved Webkinz.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I loved Webkinz. And I remember I was in class one time, and it was a 4th, 5th, and 6th grade class. Like, we were all kind of together. And we had, like, a circle, and we could do, like, show and tell about our weekend. And I had got a new Webkinz. I was new into school. And I was like, this is my new Webkinz.
Oh.
And the teacher was, like, she made me feel like I was behind developmentally. Like, I was, like, too immature. She was like, put that up. And I was like, oh, like, I'm a weirdo. Like, I really was like, I get that there's 6th graders here, but dang, I don't like Webkinz.
Right.
And so I think I've carried a lot with that, like that little small experience. But now, if I want a little trinket, if I want a little blind box, I'm gonna get it.
Get it, girl.
Yeah, and so I got these. I got a bunch of Sunny Angels and things of that sort. And there's like a toy store that I go to in Austin, literally just to walk around. I'll look at the little, what are they called? Brain teasers? Like, you have to, like, disconnect them somehow, like, figure out all these types of things, right? Like, those types of toys. I'll, like, allow myself to enjoy them, whether I buy them or not. So I think that's something that I connect with my younger self with now. Okay. This is truly my last question, and it's a bonus question. I really just wanted to know, what did y'all want to be when y'all grew up? We talked about this a little bit earlier.
I wanted to work at Six Flags.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, tell us the story behind
I
it.
just don't know. I would just love going to Six Flags.
You wanted to be on those
growing up.
commercials talking about.
Yeah. Actually just wanted to operate the roller coasters. I wanted to be like the one, like, are you ready? You know, thumbs up if you're ready. And then, like, send them when they're like, no. And, like, just send them down. Yeah, I don't know why, but I just love Six Flags. Also, I had a Wii growing up, and I had that Six Flags game. And I would be, like, there was, like, this scary ghost game, and I would play it, and there was, like, a ship game. And, I loved that game. And
She's
so
like,
that
I'm
was
living out my career.
Yes, and so I just wanted to be, I don't know, Six Flags was just
great.
fun. Yeah. I loved it. I don't know why. Just a worker at Six Flags. It was like, if all my dreams fail, that's where I'm going, at Six Flags. So.
I'm going to operate those roller coasters.
Yeah, Fright Fest. To be on the.
Oh,
yeah.
heck no, I'm scared of that.
I love that.
I would have the lanyard of, like, please don't scare me.
Yeah, there's, like, scare zones now. There used to be people that would, like, walk around all over the place.
I didn't know that.
But there's only scare zones now. So, yeah. That's what I want to do.
Wow. Well, I wanted to be a doctor.
That's right.
Specifically, a pediatrician. And then later, as I became a teenager, I wanted to be an OB just because I wanted to deliver babies, and, like,
Dang, shout out
birth
to
and
you.
pregnancy was, like, one of my favorite things as a teenager. So weird. But, yeah. Later on, I want to be, like, a doula, too.
Yes, I think we did talk about
Yeah,
this.
so I'm going to pursue that in, like, 5-10 years, but take a break from school for a little bit.
Well, on a serious note, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Hey.
For the longest. I was like, I used to watch Criminal Minds and all different types of
Was
laws.
there a type of specific, sorry, I said that wrong. Was there a specific type of law that you wanted to do? I don't know if you ever, like, thought that.
No, but Meryl brought it up. There's a thing called juvenile.
I think juvenile law
attorney?
or something,
Juvenile
advocate.
law. I would have wanted to do that, but I also I was fascinated with the little gavel thing. Be like, case dismissed. That's what I wanted to do.
Oh my gosh, and growing up, there's like on like, I don't know, Telemundo or something, like the Spanish channel, there's like Caso Cerrado, messy, super messy. But she would be, and it was like Judge Judy in Spanish, and it was so messy, and all my family would watch that. And she's just like, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, dang, you're going to break it.
For my Spanish class, we had to watch something in Spanish, and I chose that. And I was like, this is crazy.
It's really wild. I'm trying to think. Oh, I was telling y'all, for the very first ever, like, career day I could go for school, I dressed up as a ballerina.
Oh, cute.
But because I genuinely love learning so much, I would just like dive deep into different careers all the time. So my mom, she was like, oh my gosh, you want to be a ballerina? Let me go find you classes. By the time she found out, I was like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be a vet. But then I saw my dog needed to get shots. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I think I ended up probably around like 4th or 5th grade. I literally said, I'm gonna be a cosmetologist, and then I'm gonna do that so I can pay for school to be a psychologist.
Oh.
That did not work out. When I got to it, I was like, I actually don't want to do that.
Never say never.
Never say never. Well, now if I had to be anything, I would either want to be a baker or a creative director. I've already said this so many times.
I see that in you.
Okay, you guys. I know we've been yapping. Thank y'all so much for really sharing about y'all's childhood with me. I don't take that lightly. And just like in every episode, we have a relationship goal and a recommendation. And then today, Caroline has our relationship goal.
Yeah, so relationship goal is to practice self-love, practice having a good relationship with yourself, do something that supports your well-being and heals your inner child, treat yourself as you want to treat as you want others to treat you. And I saw this online, I don't know where, but this is a really good quote. It says, be someone you feel safe with.
Oh yeah,
I like
that's
that.
beautiful.
I like that a lot, yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
you're with
yourself.
Yes.
I have the recommendation, and because this was inspired by Justin Bieber, and I love him, my recommendation is to listen to an artist that you loved as a kid. Whether it's an artist, like listening to their music, or even watching a movie would be nice. I even think about like the Bratz. Bratz are still doing different collaborations now. So just tapping into something that you really like. You know, sometimes I do look at Webkinz. And I know that app is still open. It's actually a phone game now. And I don't think you need to buy the animal and the code and blah, blah, blah. So just tapping into that. You know, if I could get into Club Penguin again.
There is a website. You can play some games.
Oh, you're so right.
Yeah.
I do it, yeah.
Things like that. Fun Brain, Pop Tropica. Like
Pop Tropica was mine.
Pop back into it. So that's my recommendation. But again, thank y'all so much for really sharing and answering my silly questions. And thank y'all for tuning in again. If you are looking for more specific, if you're wanting to follow us, oh my gosh, wow. If you're looking to follow us, you can follow us at Advocacy Waco on Instagram and Facebook. If you are looking for more content regarding prevention, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at ACCVC_prevention. But that's everything. This is our last episode, and then we'll see you next season. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Real-ationship Goals. This episode was produced by the Prevention and Education Department of the Advocacy Center for Crime Victims and Children in Waco, Texas. Interested in more content from P&E or the Advocacy Center? You can follow us on Instagram at ACCVC_prevention or on Instagram and Facebook at Advocacy Waco. Be sure to like this episode and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Bye.